This is a typical setup of the Flometrics pressure pulse generator. The first thing we're going to do to empty the chamber in the PPG is to remove each of the caps and then each of the pressure transducers or catheters that we have connected. You may want to use a wrench to hold the fittings in place while disconnecting the lure lock connections. Now we're also going to leave the reference transducer in here. So once you've removed all of the lure lock connections, the easiest way to empty the PPG is to just pour it into another container. So now we're going to fill the Flometrics pressure pulse generator. The first step is to make sure that all of the fittings are tight. Once you've tightened all the fittings, we'll start with some degassed water, and we're going to use a syringe to slowly fill the chamber. We should fill the chamber just until water starts to flow out of each of the fittings. Once the chamber has been filled with water, the next thing we'll want to do is attach the caps. So in order to attach the caps, we'll want to fill this syringe, and we want to fill the hole in the center of the caps with water. We should leave a small bead of water at the end that can merge with a bead of water in the fitting. If there isn't one, we can add just a little bit until we see one nice and clearly. Make sure that the beads merge and then screw the cap on. We'll do that again for the next cap. Screw it on. This process tends to be messy, so you'll want to have paper towels on hand. Next, we can attach a catheter. Now, it's important to make sure that the catheter is full of water. This one's already been filled. And again, we're going to make sure that there's a bead on the end. And we will merge that with this fitting. Finally, we're going to connect a disposable pressure transducer to the PPG. Now, just like the catheter, the disposable pressure transducer has to be filled with water. One easy way to do this is with a syringe. We'll force water through the disposable pressure transducer and ensure that there are no air bubbles. We're going to push just a little bit more out to ensure that we have a tiny bead of water at the end, and we'll ensure that there's a bead in the fitting to which we will connect it. The last thing we're going to do to prepare the PPG is to ensure that there are no bubbles in the chamber. One good way to do this is using the syringe at the end of your transducer or catheter setup. We'll take the syringe and ensure that it's about half full. Once the syringe is half full of water, we'll reattach it, and then we'll apply pressure to pull any air bubbles still in the system up into the syringe. We'll then push the water back into the system until we can feel significant resistance, and then we'll allow the syringe to return to its natural position. At this point, we'll want to turn this lock to allow the pressure inside the chamber to equalize with ambient. You'll want a paper towel ready. We'll turn the valve around and catch that water. The same process should be repeated for every pressure transducer or catheter that's attached to the system to ensure that there are no bubbles before a test is started.